What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Ruben Helo Show. That's right. We have changed the name of the podcast to the Ruben Helo Show. Really wasn't sure what I wanted to change it to, but I just know that I wanted to change it. And so it is an ever developing thing. However, thank you for hopping on to another episode. And as promised, we are going to be putting out a lot more valuable content for you in 2025. We are locked in. We are ready to go. We are going to be recording, constantly putting out valuable information here on the podcast platform, whatever podcast platform you tune into, social media, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Threads, working on Twitter, LinkedIn, all that good stuff. Valuable information regarding real estate, entrepreneurship, branding, personal, travel, everything you need to know. Now, before I get into the episode for today, it is a topic that I'm very excited to talk about, and we're starting to get real. We're starting to get real, honest, and authentic in the podcast, and I love that. That is a tone that I've been wanting to establish with this podcast since I started this podcast. But as you know, or if you know, and even if you don't know, when you're starting something, you're navigating through it, trying to figure yourself out. That's kind of what happened with me in my real estate career. And it's happened to me in other areas of my life as well. However, you always have to come back and remember who you are. Remember where you come from. Remember what you have accomplished. Remember what you have gone through. And I constantly try to do that. And one of the things that has helped me get back to that recently was taking a look at the new Lion King movie. I love Lion King. It is one of my favorite movies of all time. And the new Lion King movie that came out, I believe it's called Simba. I didn't even pay attention. However, it is a story about Simba and no, it's called Mufasa. I apologize. It's called Mufasa. It is a story about how Mufasa, his story was passed down to the son of Simba, and it's just a super dope story. But it brings me back always to the scene in The Lion King when the monkey, I forget his name, but he tells Simba after Simba runs away to remember who he is, and I love that scene. And so in this episode, I'm going to touch on some of the challenges that I have faced as a first-generation real estate agent, a first-generation Mexican-American entrepreneur, and pretty much a first-generation everything, because I'm breaking through barriers, I'm pioneering my way, I'm making things happen. I'm trying to do it the best way possible. Sometimes I know exactly what I need to do, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I have to take a step back. Sometimes I have to think. Sometimes I have to remember who I am to be able to proceed as authentically as possible. So, I have a question for you. Have you ever felt like the odds were stacked against you? As a first-generation business owner, I know that feeling all too well. Starting from scratch, navigating unknown territory, and trying to break through barriers can feel overwhelming. I've been there before. But you know what? You can overcome it all. And today, I'm going to talk about how. For those that you don't know, I'm Ruben Helo, first-generation Mexican-American entrepreneur, real estate agent, and investor. I built my business from the ground up. And trust me, the road hasn't always been smooth. But the challenges I face have taught me lessons that have shaped me not just as a business owner, but as a person as well. So today I want to share some of those challenges and the lessons I've learned. So whether you're just starting out or looking for inspiration, you'll leave this episode feeling empowered and a whole lot better. Challenge number 1. When I started in real estate and entrepreneurship, I had limited resources and connections, right? When I started my business, I did not have a big network or a financial safety net. I got licensed June of 2019. I was working part-time at T-Mobile, and after a couple of months, I realized that if I wanted to be successful in real estate, I had to go all in. And so around September or October of 2019, I decided to quit my secure W-2 part-time commission job at T-Mobile. And to be able to pay for my expenses, I cashed out what was very, very little amount in my 401k account at that time. I probably had around 4 or 5k. And it was just me and my ambition and a whole lot of determination at that point. Understanding that if I wanted to succeed at something, I had to go all in. I had to devote myself like I had done before in previous endeavors that I had taken upon. And what comes up to mind are the experiences that I had when I was playing sports growing up. Honestly, sports saved my life. I think sports is a huge reason why I'm here today. It was an outlet for me, a healthy outlet. It taught me many, many, many skills that sometimes I don't even feel like I use all of them as I should today. But they definitely taught me a lot of skills. And so when I decided to become a full-time real estate agent around September, October of 2019, I had very little money. I had very little knowledge about real estate, the industry, about how to do anything really. I didn't understand the process of how to buy a house myself. And it is all something that I learned as I was seeking mentorship, as I was educating clients myself as well. I learned to be resourceful at that time. I leveraged free resources like networking events, online courses, and mentorship opportunities. And I focused on building relationships, and that was key. Every connection I made brought new opportunities. If you're starting with limited resources, remember that your resourcefulness is your greatest asset, right? You can always, if you look for it, you will find it. Connections are out there. Networking is out there. It's important to note that over the course of my 5 years in real estate, I have invested over $150,000. Coaching and sales training and, networking as well. Attending seminars, flying to different states to attend workshops, and continuing to develop myself in that process. I have learned very valuable information and I have made very valuable connections as well. The second challenge that I have been able to overcome, and I can confidently say that going into my 6th full-time year in real estate, they say that if you can make it past 5 years as a business owner, especially in real estate, you have made it. You have established yourself in the market. And one of the things that I can confidently say that I have overcome at this point is self-doubt and imposter syndrome. As first-generation professionals, as first-generation entrepreneurs, investors, etc., this is something that I know we all struggle with. We all struggle with imposter syndrome. We're first generation. We've never been through this before. Our parents have likely not talked to us about entrepreneurship and investing. We don't understand investing strategies. We don't understand the different ways to become an entrepreneur. We don't understand the different ways to purchase and invest in real estate. We don't understand how to navigate the corporate world. And so this, for me, started even back in college, trying to navigate through classes and semesters and a new environment with a whole lot of people that didn't look like me, which was new to me. And so, I reflect on all that. And again, I remind myself of who I am. There were moments when I questioned if I was good enough to succeed. There were moments when I questioned if who I was or who I am belonged in this industry, if who I am was good enough in this industry. And so imposter syndrome can creep in and make you feel like you don't belong. What helped me overcome self-doubt was taking action. And no matter how nervous, no matter how anxious, no matter how afraid I may have been or even looked, I knew that I had to go through those uncomfortable situations. And that is something that I learned at a very young age, especially through sports as well, because there were many situations where I tried a new sport. I felt like I wasn't good enough, or I was picked last and I felt uncomfortable, but I kept at it anyways. And that is the most valuable thing that I can, talk about today, is the importance of just simply taking action. Just do it. Just take action. You have nothing to lose and a whole lot to gain. And I'm sure, and some people have told me, and some people haven't. A lot of people probably haven't, but I'm sure that my resiliency and perseverance and the things that I have done and the action that I have taken and the growth that people have been able to see within myself and my career, that has motivated people to take action themselves and pursue something that they want to pursue. Every small win, whether it was helping a client or closing a deal, boosted my confidence. Every call that I made, every no that I got, every yes that I got, every win, every loss, it all helped me for the better. Obviously, the good, positive victories help your confidence a whole lot more. You definitely want to make sure you win and you celebrate those wins. The other important thing is surround yourself with supportive people who remind you of your worth, and remember, progress, not perfection, is what matters. To help you, genuinely want to see you succeed. And typically those people are people that are not competing with you. Those people are content with their own journey, with their own success, right? Don't get me wrong. I feel like there's competition in this industry, and there's nothing wrong with competition. I am a huge proponent for competition, healthy competition. In any case, I feel like the people that you surround yourself with have to be colleagues, have to be willing to work with you and vice versa, and have to seek a win for everybody. Challenge number 3 has been balancing culture and business. As a first-generation Mexican American, I come from a certain way of living, certain belief systems, certain mindsets. And so I have been on this personal self-development journey for, I'd say, about probably since I started college when I was 18 years old. I am about to turn 32 years old. And evolving and growing and shedding old skin and developing new belief systems and new ways of doing things and feeling and just everything. As a first generation entrepreneur, business owner, or just person, student, or whatever you want to fill in, you are conflicted. You go through this inner struggle, this inner battle that I'm going to start talking about, that I think is important to talk about, because I feel like there's not enough conversation about this topic out there. But we go through this inner struggle where we get, well, I'll speak for myself. I have felt guilt and I have felt shame for for growing, for evolving, and knowing that, in a sense, I was leaving my family behind in the way that I think. Now, I don't want to devalue or talk down on my family whatsoever. There are very valuable principles that come from my family, and I have been able to embody those principles, and because of those principles, I am where I am today. However, we cannot deny that these are some of the challenges that we face. So as a first-generation entrepreneur, family and cultural obligations are a big part of life, and balancing those with running a business can feel very overwhelming at times. Instead of seeing this as a challenge, I embrace it as like my superpower. My culture has taught me resilience because, let's face it, us Mexicans were very resilient. The importance of hard work because, let's face it, we work very hard. Now, the challenge or the opportunity sometimes is learning how to work smarter, not harder. But we know how to work hard. I grew up seeing my parents wake up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning every single day. Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday, working on the weekend, side hustles. My dad was a mechanic. My mom used to sell burritos and tamales. I grew up around this stuff, so we know how to work very hard. And we value each other. We value our community. Those are values, and those are now the foundation of how I run my business. And there are a lot of things that there are pillars within my business that I am proud of, such as character. Character is a huge part of how I operate my daily life. in how I operate my business. Integrity is very important in my business. Honesty is very important. Generosity is very important in my business. Right. So for me, overcoming those challenges is maintaining a balance of the growth that I am making, how I am evolving, where I am headed, and at the same time, again, remembering who I am, remembering where I come from, remembering the beautiful principles and values that come from my culture, that come from my people. Even though we may not think the same way or see everything eye to eye, I still love and appreciate those people as much as I can. Now, sometimes I'm gonna voice my opinion. I'm gonna voice, where I'm at. I think I try to do it as healthy as possible. Balancing the two has been a challenge, and I overcome that challenge by remembering who I am and embracing who I am becoming. Challenge number 4, which is very, very important, is facing market uncertainty. I got into this industry before the global pandemic, and I became a full-time real estate agent about 3 months before it officially hit. March 2020 is when the pandemic hit, and I had decided to become a full-time real estate agent January of 2020. Since then, the market has been all over the place. 2020 was a pandemic. 2021 was nuts. Prices were going through the roof because interest rates were low. 2022, we saw a shock in the market when rates went from 3% to about 7% in a matter of 4 or 5 months. In 2023 and 2024 have been fluctuating. The beautiful thing for me, and something I'm very, very proud of, is that I have been able to succeed in all of those markets through hard work, through hustle, through focus, and understanding how to help my clients and continuing to grow has been a catalyst for my success, my gradual success throughout those markets. And so facing market uncertainty, it's something that you're going to have to overcome as a real estate agent, and probably in any other type of business that you do, because every business has markets. So, and real estate isn't always predictable. There have been moments when the market felt unstable, as I touched on, and I had to pivot quickly. And so the lesson that I learned is that adaptability is crucial. You have to be able to adapt to the market, and you have to be able to offer a great service based on the market. And that's, ultimately going to help you succeed. The other thing is diversifying my income streams has been very important. Aside from residential real estate, I also sell commercial. I also help investors. I fix and flip. I am an investor. I am a lender as well. So I help with mortgages, refinances, HELOCs. I offer a consulting service as well. I help with business acquisitions and business sales. And so there's a lot of kind of things that I do. And, the reason why they work is because they're all related. Some people say, don't diversify, put your eggs in one basket, become a master at one thing. And I agree with that. I think that that's what I'm doing. And the beautiful thing about what I'm doing is that everything is related. Everything correlates. And I understand it all. So it complements each other and it helps me out. So always have a backup plan, whether it's saving for tough times. You definitely want to make sure you have at least 6 months reserves when you're making the transition into especially real estate or entrepreneurship. Make sure you have a nice nest egg, some nice savings so that, you can weather some bad storms with confidence. So that's super important. Challenge number 5, work-life balance. Work-life balance is something that you don't get unless you plan for it as a real estate agent. You have to, when you get to a certain point, you have to choose what type of life you are going to live and who is going to run your life for you. Because if you let it, your clients will run your life for you. If you don't let it, they won't. However, when you set your boundaries, people respect that. And so it's important for you. It has been important for me to set those boundaries. I work when I say I'm going to work, and I take time off when I need to take time off, and I let people know, and I set those boundaries. So balancing work and life can be impossible when you're building something from scratch, when you're building something from the ground up, especially as a first generation Mexican American, Latino, or whatever entrepreneur. There were times I overworked myself and paid the price for that. I've gotten burnt out. I've gotten upset. I've questioned if it is all worth it. I learned to set boundaries. For me, my mornings are very important, whether that's sleeping in because I need some rest. I like to listen to my body, or going to the gym, meditating, doing yoga. And, afternoons obviously are for work, and evenings are for either unwinding, family, friends, dates, whatever. And if I need to work in the evening, then I do that. It just all really depends, but I make sure that I put things into my calendar and my schedule and follow my schedule as close to a T as possible. You have to protect your energy and prioritize self care. You can't pour from an empty cup. You just can't. So, if you're a first generation entrepreneur or thinking about starting your journey, I want to hear from you. What's the biggest challenge you're facing? Make sure to follow me on all social media platforms. Let me know. Let's build a community where we can learn and grow together. And don't forget to share and like this episode. Share it with somebody else who may benefit from this content. And entrepreneurship and personal growth. And remember this, your challenges don't define you. Your resilience does. If I can overcome obstacles and build the life that I have so far, and the life really that I've dreamed of, and continue to build the life that I want, so can you. Keep pushing, keep growing, and never stop believing in yourself. Thanks for tuning in, for watching, for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.